Xerxes Madan. Some people were asking me in the morning, who is this new mob FE? He's very active in OSCF. He's in charge of literally OSCF prayers and things like that. He doesn't speak much, but we have now put him in charge of speaking at functions. His subject is going to be on Spenta Armaity, caretaker of the earth. That's all it means. The full world is talking about how to take care of the earth. Zoroastrian gave us a formula 5,000 years back. If they follow it, I think we'll be in good hands. Xerxes, come on up.
Isn't it uncanny how an inexperienced or a new recruit always picks up the shortest straw? Well, I had the difficult task of keeping you awake after lunch, so please bear with me. This is the first official talk on a religious topic. Second, I had one in OZCF. I'm no student or no expert on the scriptures or the religious matters. And when Ervad Kobad asked me to speak on a topic, I said, sure, why not? And all the time I thought that he will be giving me the material, I just have to come up and speak in front of you. Little did I know that I have to dig up the matter on my own. But honestly, it was a wonderful experience. And what I learned through reading all the scriptures, reading the interpretations of everyone, it was amazing. So thank you, Kobad, for the opportunity. Like the corporate world, I would like to start with a disclaimer that all the points which I'm going to talk on are I've taken from some of the experts and scholars on the religious matter. So if there are any questions, please ask them. Before we start, I just came across an interesting article on the Mahabharata. I think most of you would be familiar with the great epic, the Hindu epic. There was this young man who wanted to make it his life ambition to study and research on the Mahabharata, on the epic. So what better place to start than at Kurukshetra, where the greatest war took place, where thousands of people died. So he was moving around, walking around, looking at the ground and wondering, did the war actually take place? When he heard a soft, oldish voice say, "You will never know the truth about the war." He turned around and he saw this old man with a long beard and eyes that could calm a storm. And the old man continued, "I know you are here to study about the Kurukshetra war, but you will not understand the war if you don't understand what the actual war was all about." So the young man was taken aback. What is he talking about? So old man says, "The Mahabharata is an epic. It's a ballad. Perhaps a reality, but definitely a philosophy." So the young man says, "What do you mean philosophy? Can you explain?" Old man says, "Yes. You know the 5 Pandavas. What are the 5 Pandavas? They are your 5 senses. Thoughts, words, ears, sight. And who are the Kauravas? The Kauravas are the 100 vices that attack your senses every day. But you can fight these vices. Do you know how?" The young man says, "How do I do it?" When Krishna rides your chariot. Krishna is the Lord in the Mahabharata. So old man smiled and kept on going. "Krishna is your inner voice, your soul, your guiding light. And if you let your life in his hands, you have nothing to worry." Very profound. The article goes on, but I wanted to bring this up because the context of my speech is also to be looked at in a more philosophical way. Just a background, Movedya, Kushum Mirza and Ervad Timdan Mirza talked about Amisha Spentas, Amisha Spans. Including Aura Mirza, there are 7, so after him there are 6 more. You have Vahumana, that is good mind or Baman. Then you have Ashavahishta, Adivesh, which is truth. Kshatravaidya or Sharevar, which is good dominion. Spenta Armaity or Aspandar, which is devotion. Haratat or Khodar, wholeness and health. Amaratat or Amardar, which is immortality. So this background why I want to give you is how did the Amisha Spantas come about? What were they? The term Amisha Spenta does not appear in our Gathas as per our scholars. That's right. It appears, the first reference comes only in the Haptangati Yash, which came in the latter part of the Persian. And this is in Yasna 35, para 42. But all the entities that I spoke about earlier, the six Amisha Spentas, they appear together in various Gathas. In Aunavad Gatha, Yasna 34, para 11, Pushtavad Gatha, Yasna 45, para 10, and Spenta English Gatha, Yasna 47, para 1. So who were the Amisha Spentas? Were they living divinities or were they mythological figures? Zoroastrianism, as we know, is the oldest monotheistic religion, and Zarathustra kept on emphasizing that there's just one supreme Lord. So how do these divinities fit in? As we know, Aura Mazda is the ultimate reality. And to realize Aura Mazda, the first step is to develop one's mind to a state of perfection. To understand, this will be done through thought, through knowledge, and through understanding and reasoning. This is in the Aunavad Gatha, Yasna 28, para 2, 3, and 4. Now, for a common man to understand absolute reality, to understand Aura Mazda, it's not easy. In fact, it's very difficult because it's so abstract. There's nothing tangible. There's nothing physical that he can attach himself to. So Zarathustra found a way. He made these Amisha Spentas to be like mythological figures, gave them a field, something tangible. But these are nothing but the 6 attributes of Aura Mazda. And this can be found in Yasna 34, para 11. So having this background, we move on to Spenta Armaity, third of the Amisha Spentas, two which we heard earlier. Now when we talk of Spenta Armaity, what would you understand by Spenta Armaity? What comes to mind when we talk of Spenta Armaity? Anyone? Devotion.
Right-mindedness.
Right-mindedness. Yeah, there are many things. Okay, maybe after my lecture, I can ask again. Okay, so Spenta Armaity is an Avesta term. We commonly call that as Spentamad or Aspandar, which is more in the Pahlavi language that we learn. It means devotion to God and beneficent love to all. Armaity is made up of 2 parts, Ar and Mighty. The first part means tranquil, calm, rhythmic flow. And the second part, to think over, to consider, to ponder, to reason, to reflect. So combined Armaity is the calm, creative flow of thoughts and ideas, the composed and tranquil meditation and reflection that heals and nurtures. Armaity is the first feminine immortal among the 6. There were 3 masculine earlier, and then the first of the 6 in the Amisha Spentas. She is considered to be the daughter of Aura Mazda, as provided in Ustavad Gatha, Yasna 45:4. Atahoi Dugeda Hushotna Armaitish, and whose virtuous daughter is Armaity. As Dastur Manikji Dhala puts it, she is the personified female abstraction of devotion. She is the feminine nurturing aspect of Aura Mazda. The next few lines explain the concept of Spenta Armaity. A little philosophical, so please bear with me. When we meet with unpleasant situations or vibrations, we get agitated, we feel a little upset, and what happens is by reciprocating, we support these negative vibrations. But when the mind is calm and still, at peace, we will have the right solutions and we will come up with the right answers. So Armaity is the calm power to help face the adverse waves and negative energies. Through fervent meditation and enlightenment, Zarathustra understood the ways of Ahura Mazda, and he wanted his listeners, his followers, to also, share this incomparable gift of Armaity with him. This is in Yasna 44:11. That's the Ushtavat Gatha. The invisible and visible worlds exhibit in all directions the beneficent love of Ahura Mazda. Zarathustra describes it as Armaity or devotion. It is devotion. It is the first requisite for human being, for it is devotion that sanctifies the heart, and it is through the medium of devotion that the faithful aspire to traverse the path in safety and approach Ahura Mazda. So Spenta Armaity is the constant guide and friend of all Zoroastrians. There is this fascinating story of an Indian sage in the 20th century. Now, he was sitting in his room and there was a big storm, heavy rains, and there was a lot of destruction around. But when they found the sage, he was sitting calm, his surroundings, his room was intact. It was not destroyed by the rain or the storm. What is it? Is it luck? Is it a little story we can snicker upon? Or is it the ultimate in devotion and high state of development where the sage had created a very powerful calm that did not affect his surroundings? That's what he managed to do. Something to ponder on. The house lord prays that Armaity enter his house. This Yasna 60 para 5 says, I choose for myself the excellent Armaity. May she be with me. She teaches us to be loving, tolerant, understanding, devoted, and humble. Armaity, besides being the spiritual energy, the Mino, behind perfect concentration and calm, she is also considered to be the genius of the earth. So where does this connection come from? Armaity with the earth. Some scholars associate a connection through a possible linkage in similar words. Swanta Armata, that's in Buddhism, and which meant bounteous or devoted. And the suggestion that during pagan Iranian times, there must have been a goddess bounteous or devoted earth, and that Zarathustra may have been inspired by the term and just kept the old association with it. Maybe. But for this talk, I have looked more at the text and how the connections would take place. There are a number of characteristically elusive references in the Gathas for the association of Armaity with earth. These are some excerpts from the Spenta Gatha, that is Yasna 47 to 50. She has given us a goodly home. For her, through Asha, that Ahura Mazda caused the plants to grow at the birth of primeval world. The physical creation which Armaity protects and in which she is immanent is the bounteous earth and the sacred space. This is in Yasna 48, para 6. She is created for the care of cattle if she takes counsel with Bahumana. Yasna 47, para 3. She is requested through the labor of husbandry, let the ox grow fat for nourishment. Yasna 48, para 5. So there are many such excerpts. Now, to practice submissiveness, especially towards God, I think it's a business of every upright man. And in the social gradation over millennia, we've seen that the obedience and devotion has always been looked on to be from the peasantry, and the peasantry are the ones who are closest to the earth. So is that how the connection of devotion to the earth comes to take place? Maybe. So there are many such things which come in. So we have to try and understand where it fits in. At the time of death, the pious Zoroastrian is left to the tender care of Armaity, and all those who have assembled for the funeral pay obeisance to unto Armaity. As Dr. Iraj Taraporwala writes, Armaity came to be identified with Mother Earth, sustaining and nourishing all mankind upon her bosom. We have a birth from her, we are nourished by her, and after that we rest in her bosom. Dastu Dhala highlights in his book, Under the Latter Persian Times, as the genius of earth, Spenta Armaity or Spenta Armaity rejoices when the faithful cultivate the land and rear cattle upon it, or when a virtuous child is born on it. She yields nourishment and prosperity unto all. In the main rituals of the Zoroastrian worship, Armaity is held to be physically represented by the earth on the consecrated precinct, the Pavi as we call it. And still today, Zoroastrian priests solemnize these age-old services seated cross-legged, hence in direct touch with the earth. During the Yasna ceremony, she is recognized for her protective watch over not only the Pavi, but also the entire earth. She symbolizes the link between that which is consecrated and that which is not. Spenta Armaity in the Pahlavi period took up another role which was not earlier. She became the guardian of virtuous women. Is it because of Mother Earth? So did Mother come in? Did that have a link to it? Maybe. This is in Hapangaiti Yasna 38 para 1. Armaity is also manifest in women who, like the good earth, give and nourish life. Down into the Islamic times in Iran, now the holy day of Spindarmar, which is the 5th day of the 12th month as per the Fasli calendar, the Roj Aspandad and Ma Aspandad. They celebrate the festival where women are given presents by men, and it was continued till I think a few years back. In later Iranian times, the annual festival in her honor was also held for farmers. It was called Jashan-e-Barzikaran because farmers were also the caretaker. They were closest to the earth, so you had the guardian of the earth, you had the guardian of women. So everything came to fall in that line. So you can see over the years, what started off as an attribute of Auramasa became a divinity of devotion, a guardian of the earth, and a caretaker of women. So that's how Spenta Armaity has evolved, or that's how it's transcended over the generations. Now, all Amisha Spentas have their Yazatas, or Izatas as we call them, or better known as Hamkars or co-workers. They are the angels, the loving guides and protectors of man. So along with the 7 Amisha Spentas, including Auramasa, there are 23 Yazatas to make up the calendar month of the Zoroastrians. So Armaiti's Hamkars are Ava Yazad, which is water, Din Yazad, which is vision, Mino Ashisham, blessings or spiritual riches, and Mino Marespan, the holy word. So these are our comrades in our struggle with Astobidor, the bone breaker or the devil of death. Ashisham or Ashi Vanguhi, as you know him, is also considered to be the daughter of Spenta Armaity, and she is the angel of good fortune and wealth. So, now do we know about Spenta Armaity? Anyone wants to add in now? Who is Spenta Armaity?
Yeah. Taraporwala also says that without devotion, prayer has no meaning.
That's right. So it's just like you devote, that's the main thing. So through devotion, you try to achieve a state of calmness wherein you reach this. So devotion is the first step towards that.
I think you mentioned it was interesting that at the funeral we pay homage, and that is why I think in our funeral ceremony, after the first gatha is prayed, they say Namaste Armaity Sijata, they completely come Namaste. I think that's
We are paying obedience to Armaity. Okay, so just to summarize, Armaity is a feminine entity among the Amisha Spentas. She is referred to as the daughter of Aura Mazda. She represents the qualities of service, kindness, faith, devotion, and serenity in the spiritual realm. In the material plane, she personifies the earth, fertile land, and the sacred places. During the ceremonies, she is invoked to purify the ritual place. Being a female entity, she represents the ideal womanhood, representing the divine virtues of loving kindness, peace, selfless service, and dutifulness. So all these, as I mentioned, are references from various books and various authors. So just name them. History of Zoroastrianism by Dastur Manikji Nasarwanji Dhala. The Religion of the Good Life by Rustam Masani. A History of Zoroastrianism by Mary Boyce. Translations of the Gathas and Yash by Ervad Kavasi Edaji Kanga. My God, Aura Mazda by Ervad Dr. Ramyar Parvez Karanjia. And also from some websites like the Authentic Gatha Zoroastrianism, Hindu website, Wikipedia. And special thanks to Ervad Gustaf Pantaki for his guidance. I shall conclude my talk with these two verses from invoking Armaity from the poetic Aunavat Gata, and I have taken liberty to quote Adesha. Shatrem cha ozagava name Beradaiti Armaitish, Amoy Rafedrai Zavang Jasta. This is in Yasna 28:3. Growing in vigor by the power of melodious thinking, may she come to my calls for embrace. And in Yasna 32:2. Asha Hushhaka Quenwata, Spentam wa Armaity Vambuhim Veremaiti, Hange Angat. Your splendid melodious thoughts, benevolent and brightly choose, may she be ours. Hamazor Hamasho.